Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Three Marketeers show. So this is the first time we do this on Thursday, and thank you for joining us. Basically, what we're gonna do here is, it's just a night where just three dudes coming from, different places coming together and share a little bit about what we have learned in our journey as a digital marketer. So today's topic is about, it's called let's talk about audience targeting. So before we go through a one round introduction, let me quickly go through about a few questions that we're supposed to discuss today. First thing first, we're going to talk about first. This is the first question that we have. What makes Facebook audience targeting special? So if you wonder, if for those people who are kind of like new to Facebook advertising, this will be a topic that you want to look at. And this is another question that a lot of people kind of find it confusing. There are a lot of detailed targeting options available. How do you use it? So this is actually, we will get some of the points from our marketers today. Then next, we want to talk about how Facebook knows about your detailed targeting, how Facebook knows that you're married, how Facebook knows that you're into kids products and all that. So I will break it down to you to show you how all this detailed targeting works. And then of course, we want to go through a bit about how do we actually find the right target audience size. So this is another question that a lot of people find it confusing. What is the best size to start? And then we will dive into the lookalike audience. Then we will wrap it with custom audiences. So today is kind of like, more in a way, I call this, we have a lot more things to share. So along the way, if you have any questions, please feel free to really like drop your questions in the comment. If you are watching it live, then we will try to answer it. If we actually watch it in the replay, then we would just come back and answer your questions as and when. So if you like this, if you're new to us, basically this is a three marketer show where three marketers, digital marketers come together. Remember to click subscribe and follow button so that you'll be notified as and when we go live. We will actually do these episodes at one episode a week. So it's like a weekly thing. So let me introduce my panel here, my friends. First of all, we have Manfred from Singapore, and then we have Andrew from Malaysia. So Manfred, start with you. Share with us your past life and all that. What do you do? This will never go away.
And it's affecting your site, your internet connection really.
Yeah.
Okay.
My side?
I always like to say this. Your internet connection a bit on and off already. Okay. So I always like to tell my friends what's so fascinating about digital marketing. You see, I always like to say this: Google and Facebook knows us better than we know ourselves. You see, Google allows the prospect to look for the brand, and Facebook allows the brand to look for the prospect. In fact, basically, Facebook is the TV of our time. Hardly people nowadays watch TV. So it's very important to know Facebook and Google, their ins and outs, so we can better to market our products and services.
Okay. But what is your background? How long have you been doing digital marketing? I mean, I really love the concept. You see,
coming to 10 years already. Yeah. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Hang on.
What about Andrew?
So you've been doing digital. Hey, wait. Laggy a little bit.
Sorry.
Okay, let's make sure that our connection is all good. Okay, I just worry about the connection. Andrew, your turn. Come, please share with us about your experience a little bit and what's your take about audience targeting? What do you think?
First thing first is I've been doing digital marketing for 2 years plus, but mostly now in B2B type of marketing. I think audience targeting is something that a lot of Facebook, either the new ones, mostly the new ones, would struggle because when they look at it's hard to identify which audience to target. And if you ask any businessman and say, what are the markets you want? They will say, I want everything. And when you don't do audience targeting for everything, you say, so everyone is my customer. Obviously, that's not. So you have heard of stuff like, then they say, okay, you're going to create your customer avatar. You got to create, who are your customers, the detail, what they like, and all those things. But it's not that easy that's straightforward when you do audience targeting.
Yep. So basically, when it comes to audience targeting, because there are different school of thoughts, that's what I want to say. Like just now, before we started, we're just going through some of the gurus that we follow, right? To be frank, we didn't come to become a digital marketer without learning from anyone else. But the moment we are actually learning from a lot of school of thoughts and all that, the biggest challenge for a lot of digital marketer is how do we actually, kind of like apply it back to our scenario and make something out of it to make sure that it works for us. So yeah, today we have, like I said, we have several questions, but for those who are, thanks and Andrew and Manfred for a quick brief. For those who don't know me, my name is Jason. In fact, my introduction start kind of come late. I'm your host today because this is really hosting on my platform, but really, I really want to thank my friends to come along. So for the past 10 years, 11 years, in fact, I've been helping brands big and small navigating success with Facebook advertising and digital marketing. So, I used to run a boutique agency. Now I'm actually more on coaching and training. Since 2016, I've trained over 4,000 people. So the reason why we do this is really about helping people to understand certain things. So remember, if you have any questions, post it in the comment. I'll be able to watch it from both YouTube and Facebook, and I'll pull them up whenever I can. Now let's go through questions. Shall we, guys?
Yep.
The things that we actually brought up just now. Now, I think the first thing first I really want to highlight and talk about here is, what makes Facebook audience targeting special. Let me take this for a bit. I mean, for the past 2016, I've been, especially in fact, I started doing Facebook advertising since 2010. And in 2010, if you're asking people to say, Jason, I mean, you go and tell people that, hey, give me money, I have you advertise on Facebook, you get middle finger. Why? Everybody back then was saying, I thought Facebook is supposed to be free. Why are you asking me to pay? So eventually, at that point of time, Facebook, audience targeting on Facebook is a little bit different. But now as it evolves, right, what I want to say that what makes Facebook audience targeting really special, it's about, it really goes back to your daily life. Because like what Manfred said, it's like Facebook is your TV right now. In fact, not just that, Facebook and Google knows you better than you know yourself.
You yourself.
Your mom, you yourself, your girlfriend, everybody knows you. Because to be frank, how do you know how many of you knows what you did 1 year ago on that today? But Facebook bloody knows, you see. So and
yeah.
Yeah,
they
so
that 10 p.m. they will scroll and see cats.
Correct.
10:30 you stop. You go and
sure you see
visit
cats at
some
10 p.m.
website. Then 11 o'clock you come back to see your favorite car, Maserati or something like that. They know inside out. Seriously.
Correct. So this is how Facebook capture a lot of data about us. So audience targeting on Facebook advertising, but it's still a little bit different compared to Google. Google is very much, most people uses Google for its search. So I always like to relate Facebook and Google as a different kind of advertising. But in my opinion, audience targeting on Facebook, really what makes Facebook advertising different is it actually gives us the ability to do conventional marketing advertising in a different way. Like I always like to tell people, Facebook advertising and conventional advertising is kind of similar. It's about pushing the information out. Back then when you build a billboard, you are trying to push this information to people who drives by. And then when you're actually doing newspaper ads, you're trying to distribute this to people who open up. But you can't control. But Facebook advertising, the audience targeting gives us the control where I'm still doing the push. However, I can pinpoint and say that I only want to push it to people with kids below 12-year-old that lives 1 kilometer radius from this area and all that, right? So that's the power of it. That's what I really like about Facebook advertising. And everything is numbers, you see. Yeah. So what do you think? What makes you use Facebook? Yeah.
No, a quick story on my side. The last whole week I was doing a lot of research on email marketing, and the last few days I've been seeing a lot of ads coming on Facebook related to email marketing. And the best part is this: I didn't do my research on Facebook. I was going through, your Google search and all these things to do it. So
right,
there is obviously a link because every bloody website has a pixel there. And that the big brain trust of Facebook is collecting all this information off Facebook, and then they are showing it to you, to ads, So, yeah, so that's how pervasive they are. You don't have to do stuff on Facebook. You can do stuff on any other platforms, and they will still know, especially if you do it on the web.
Correct. So basically, that leads us. Manfred, you have anything to add on regarding this Facebook audience targeting? What makes it so special?
The power of Facebook advertising actually found is within their targeting, and targeting those who are the closest to your business using Facebook website, custom audiences, is actually one of the best and most effective ways to do it. So I don't really care how perfect your ad copy or imagery, bidding or optimization are, but it's imperative that you target the people that most likely to perform your desired action. This is where Facebook shines.
Yeah, the
And
desired action. Correct.
yeah, when it comes to targeting my ideal audience in Facebook ads, I always see interest targeting as the last resort. When given the option, I strongly prefer reaching people who are already connected to me, like visit my website or my email list or engage in my Facebook pages, or comes from versus some so people comes from interest targeting. And because this is one of the reasons is certainty. At least I have a level of certainty that when I target these people, they are connected to my content. When I show them something, they will accept me or embrace me. But when you target with interest, is really cold audience. They are very low level of certainty. This is very different from other form of advertising, and this is what makes Facebook audience targeting so special.
Correct. Yeah, I totally agree. But let also, based on your point, Manfred, I think that leads us to the next question, where what we have over here is, how do we actually use detailed targeting? Because just now you just mentioned, right? Detailed targeting is something that is kind of like the last on your list. But even that, okay, but especially when we are targeting to, when we are trying to introduce to a mass market where we are uncertain about, who are the people who might take our action, detailed targeting seems to be the first thing that we should look at. Okay, but how do you use detailed targeting? What can you give us a case, like, for example, how would you approach, like maybe Andrew or Manfred, how do you use detailed targeting in this sense? I think Andrew would have a different perspective over here because he can kind of like, do you use a lot of detailed targeting in your list, or you actually use very little? Like detailed targeting means when you're running ads on Facebook, I mean, I'm just trying to fill in the audiences over here. For those who are new to Facebook advertising, you're able to choose detailed targeting, or people may call it keyword, such as, like, for example, you can try to type in your competitor's brand name to see whether it appears. Then you can select it. Like this afternoon, I was just trying to help my coachee set up their campaign. So what we did was we type in the Body Shop, and then we have the Body Shop. So the idea here is, we want to actually try to a certain level best target people who are kind of like affiliated or kind of interested in certain brands. That is one type of detailed targeting. Now, the other type of detailed targeting is where we are able to zoom in, like you can look at people who are married, people with kids below 12-year-old, people with kids between 3 to 5. So when it comes to this kind of detailed targeting, do you use a lot, or do you use very little? How do you approach your campaign?
It really depends on the situation that you're facing with. But a lot of time when we start to do Facebook advertising, most of the companies are quite new. They don't have a very old website. They have a very young Facebook page. They don't have customers list, and they basically have nothing, nothing to start with. And you have no choice, but you have to do detailed targeting, or what I like to always say, interest targeting. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about automobile industry.
Right.
For example, I'm interested to reach out to car owners. And you just whack them, they say, per interest, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Toyota, Honda, you throw in interest. Then you realize the CTR all and the link click is quite bad. No, it's really quite bad. And I remember my cost per lead was, I think, around $17, which is quite high.
But that's very high.
That's very high. Then when you throw in, say, example, you have a customer list, you throw in to do custom audience, then you do look at like the cost can go as low as $5. No?
So you are the kind of person who prefers lookalike.
Yeah, lookalike is one of a very important tool. In fact, I like custom audiences more in love with custom audience.
Okay.
But lookalike actually stand out your reach, because one thing I always like to highlight, if you do interest targeting or detailed targeting, just imagine 3 of us are all targeting automobile. I can reach out to BMW interest. You also can reach out to BMW. Andrew also can reach out to BMW. So we are fighting the same audience. But say example, I have 1,000 car owners list. I throw in. This custom audience is unique to me. I can reach out to them. You don't have. Andrew also don't have. Then when I do look alike, or the audience itself, you also don't have. So the competition is not there, then the price will not be that high. So when you use the custom audience and look at the beauty is you don't have that list, I have.
That's true.
Yeah, when it comes to interest targeting, sadly that is not the case.
Definitely. But keep that lookalike and custom audiences. We will actually go deeper towards the end. We have two more questions on that. But Andrew, what's your take on this thing? How do you use detailed targeting?
I normally go broad. My
Right.
technique, I do a two-prong approach. You see, the thing is, if you hear about Eugene Schwartz's 5 stages of customer awareness, you have unaware, problem aware, then you have solution aware, product aware, and most aware. So one is I run Google search. That is to target people who are already either problem aware or solution aware. They will be searching specifically for that. So obviously, when you click on Google search, you go to the landing page. I will use
Right.
Facebook mostly for so-called the hunting kind of activities where I go broad as many audience which is relevant to the target market or to the products or services that we want, but basically just to test. Like we started this conversation this evening and saying that Facebook and Google know best. So who am I to know what sort of audience interest is the most ideal one? So what I do is I go broad. And then when they go back to the each one of them, the relevant ones will go to the landing page. Then that's where we do stuff like retargeting and all those things, and we go deeper and deeper for it.
Right.
So Facebook brought to do the hunting, and then Google search is to basically target those who are specifically searching for that particular thing. So that's where you have the keywords that comes into play.
Right.
So that's
I think that is yeah, I like the approach. That's really coming from very much on the B2B basis. But to wrap this topic up, right? I mean, we have several topics to cover, so I'm just gonna wrap this topic up. I think Manfred and Andrew has provided very good insights on this. But one thing I want to add on is, the reason why I bring in, I put in this keyword targeting because a lot of people having this I call it the Google mindset when they are trying to approach the detailed targeting. You see, like for example, I let me use a case. Often some client or some prospect or some students will come to me and say that, Jason, I know who I want to target. I'm selling luxury condo, right? Help me target people who like Porsche, Maserati, Ferrari, and all these brands. I know people who are interested in these brands. They're sure my customer one. Then my argument to shoot back, I mean, not trying to shoot back, I'm not that bad. Just trying to put up an argument and say that, look, dude, I like Maserati, Porsche, Ferrari, and all that because I like cars. But liking all these pages doesn't make me a qualified customer because it doesn't mean that I can own one, you see. So this is kind of like a very big blind spot that a lot of people have when it comes to detailed targeting. So to sum it up on this part, right, which leads us to the next question, where detailed targeting is really about helping you to define your audiences, to find closer. Like for example, some people get blinded by the detailed targeting. You don't want to get too carried away. So let me give you an advice. My suggestion is, I think let's try to control your detailed targeting within 10. I know a lot of people get carried away and they want to put in a lot, but my methodology is the moment we put it within 10, okay, it gives us a certain number of, of course we get closer, but of course there are different detailed targeting, so-called narrow detail techniques and all that, but let's keep it simple. We go broad, and then like what Andrew said, we let the learning comes in, then we use the custom audiences of people who visit your website to create lookalike, then eventually you can have a balance over there. Of course, we can't go totally, lookalike or broad. We probably want to find a so-called a ratio that works. So that is my take on this thing. But really, let's lead us to the next question. Now, a lot of people ask me, Jason, how Facebook knows which detailed targeting category I belong to? How Facebook knows that I'm into kids? Okay. What do you think? How Facebook know about us? Andrew brought up one thing about pixel, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, let me please. So basically for this thing,
knows.
Facebook knows a lot of things. Facebook knows a lot of things. Like there is this case. I mean, I always like to use this story. Those people who heard this story probably, sorry, I want to tell this again. You see, the keyword or so-called detailed targeting. According to Facebook Blueprint, for those who don't know, I'm a Facebook Blueprint certified professional. So basically, every year we need to go through the exam to stay certified. So according to Blueprint data, right, the accuracy of detailed targeting, all these detailed targeting, especially things that you find like married in a relationship and all that, is actually up to 85% accuracy. Now we just talked about this with Manfred just now. Now, how Facebook knows that is because Facebook really crawl on a lot of data, and they're using Pixel to feed a lot of data back to them and all this. So a lot of times, right, even though you're not active on Facebook, even though you're not active on Instagram, because a lot of people having this misconception that, you know, all these detailed targeting are based on things that I do on Facebook. In fact, it's not that case. You know, as long as you are logged into Facebook and Instagram, Facebook is collecting data while you're browsing it. So Facebook knows which piece of information that you actually stay extra 3 seconds paying attention to it and all this kind of thing. And then Facebook also know which product that you browse on Lazada and all that. So that's how actually they bring these things together. This is how Facebook knows which category that you belongs to. Yeah, I think this is something that I wanted to bring it up and clarify to a lot of people, because they have this kind of mindset. Like, an uncle came to my physical class when I was still teaching. He said, I'm not active, you know, so Facebook cannot find me. Facebook do not know what kind of ads to serve me. Then, you know, then I'll be asking, are you married? Then when you are married, do you have kids? Is your wife active on Facebook? Because even your wife's activity can attribute back to you, you see. So your wife's browsing activity can attribute back to you, because as long as you already accept the invitation of your wife to say that you're married to her, which you dare not say no, basically everything is already like synchronizing. There are a lot of ways to actually get data about you. And needless to say, Facebook has the most powerful face detection technology in the world. You know, I'm not sure how many of you came across this. Facebook will tell you that, hey, these are the pictures that we believe you're inside. Chances are 90% are accurate, you know, and you don't even know who took this picture, when it was taken. It happened to me, because sometimes we attend event, a lot of people take picture with, I don't even know it was taken. The bloody facial recognition is like, wow, when was this taken? Wow, who took this? That day, somebody just sent me, Jason, I've spotted you in some other people's page. I mean, you have no idea how Facebook finds you. You have no idea how Facebook hunts you down. So that's one thing that I wanted to bring it up. So when they do that,
don't forget,
they actually do.
Yeah.
Don't forget
Facebook owns WhatsApp as well.
Yep.
I don't want to bring it in. It's controversial. I'm not sure whether it's true, but well, right?
I don't know.
Correct.
I don't know whether how deep is the integration, but eventually it will be. So I'm sure there are certain controls, but
they definitely will be lah. Yeah, but since we're on Facebook, we don't know. We don't. But the thing is, this is really that deep. You know, what I want to highlight here is, so when it's that deep, you know, then we turn around and think from an advertiser's perspective. This gives us a very huge opportunity to reach out to the right one.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's
share something also.
Please, Ken. Let me bring it in.
Facebook has a lot of partner relationship through this FBX.
You want me to bring this in?
You want me to bring later. This one, no, later. So there's a lot of partnership relationship through FBX, Facebook Exchange. A lot has changed to the FBX due to scandals that have been plaguing Facebook. But essentially, its purpose is to exchange data and campaigns. So there's a programmatic DSPs that work with DMPs with existing contracts with FBX, making search retargeting possible. So some of these platforms actually acts as a middleman between search engine and social network like Facebook. So for example, if you search for top plastic surgeons, this information is shared across. So Google will share this information in partner, and this information will be shared with Facebook. So information is everywhere. Then if your advertiser clients happen to be working with this kind of third-party programmatic platform, your chances of search discovery will cause you to see the ads in the social network. So basically, everything is integrated. Even though Google and Facebook is
in a way,
two different giants, their information is shared. True. Just one more small note about this targeting. Just one small one. Sure. When you see advertising coming to you, try to go to the option and see, why am I seeing this? Then they will list down you are targeted because you're interested in real estate, condo, cars, or something like that. Then sometimes I look, are you sure I'm interested in this interest? So
you can
sometimes
edit, you know. So
Yeah.
what you're saying? Let me share the screen and tell people what it is. Let me share with them and see. Okay, let me share screen. Let me bring in application, Chrome tab, Facebook. Okay, let me go to my Facebook. Can you see?
Yep.
So this is my Facebook. So what you mean here is when you're seeing an advertisement.
Yep.
Wait, let me find an ad. Okay, this is an ad.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. So
Okay, so I'll click this button, and then
why am I seeing this?
why am I bloody seeing this? All right. So what is
Let's
this
see
in video?
what- So you're interested
This
in
is
it.
this is custom
Yeah.
audience.
Do you visit this website
I
before?
did. I
Okay,
just
then
did
okay.
in the afternoon. Then we go
Okay.
to another one. Let me see another one.
Two,
So let's
three blocks down.
say where else? Is this an ad?
Yeah.
Okay, this is an ad.
Charge B.
Charge B. I have no idea. Charge B. Okay, why
Why
am
am I
I seeing this?
As a
Hey,
lead to reach
I'm
you.
okay, this is not right. Okay, let me report. Okay, I gotta report this way because I never submitted my list to them. I don't think I did.
Yeah.
List
Somehow
means
they get
they're having me a
email.
custom audience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrew is there. Who else? Oh, here lah. TikTok also can see. Okay,
Yeah.
this one. Okay. Why am I saying this?
Yeah.
Sorry, the line is a bit slow tonight. Wait, this is really slow.
TikTok don't want to tell you.
Wait, I just went into TikTok. Let me see. Okay, TikTok don't want to tell you. Let me go to something else. Walao. How come all my ads all weird
Just
one?
in, yeah.
During
Well, Jason
demonstration,
is
it's always
looking
like that.
for. Well, Jason is looking for the ads. I mean,
For the
just a caution, just a caution in case you get freaked out the way we're telling you about how pervasive Facebook is. One thing for sure, your data is not. They don't have your personal
Yep.
data, right? All your data is anonymized, and you can put inside certain buckets and all those things.
yes.
So it's not something that they can actually track where you are. You know, so don't freak out.
Everything is anonymous lah. Facebook won't because especially
Yes.
okay there.
Entrepreneurship and HubSpot, correct lah. Can lah.
Correct lah.
But there are
This is correct lah.
times when you read the interest don't make sense one. I don't know how on earth they bucket me under that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it doesn't make sense, right? Then you can come in and go and remove it. Now, so this is when, and then you can even go in and review all your interests. I don't want to do that lah. Later you see some funny things I don't want. Okay. So let me come back to. okay. Let me come back to the
Let's not go there.
Okay. So that's I think thanks for bringing this up. I think a lot of people don't even know how in fact you can control. You can go in and remove things that you don't want to, the category that you don't want to be in. Then you can actually to a certain level control your advertisement. Yeah. Okay. Now that's a cool one. Let's bring to the next question. Now this question should be quite interesting. Now, what is your audience size? What is your take, Andrew?
500,000 to 1 million, depending on the products or services.
Is that a
and
benchmark?
also the countries, of course.
Why 500,000
No.
to 1 million? Is there anything that you have?
No. Because of the budgets I spend. Normally, I run
okay.
tests at 5 ringgit a day. So,
Okay.
500,000, anything more than that, you're just fooling yourself. You ain't going to reach that. So sometimes I go below that, maybe 100, 200,000, just to test.
Okay.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, So my approach is to test different sizes of audience and, and then from there we adjust from it.
Right. So how long do you let this thing run until you do a judgment call on whether it's working?
Normally 3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever any campaign I run, I normally do about maybe 30 or 40 assets. different interests.
That's the crazy dude talking about. You see, that's like you go like 1 1 1 1 1, right? That's a method that
I go very specific.
kind of disagree. I kind of disagree, but anyway, okay, we live with disagreement. So okay, I understand, which means you probably will spend
we are constantly testing. Yeah.
Of course. So let's say 30 interest. So, if we bring it to 30 interest, 30 assets.
Yep.
Each one you go.
30 5 ringgit. Or given 5 ringgit.
Yeah, just go 5 ringgit.
Per asset.
Even that 5 ringgit also, that's quite a lot of money spent per day.
150 ringgit per day.
Yep, correct.
It's about that. Yeah,
and then the idea is to go broad and what. So after the 3 or 4 days, what happens is you then filter them through. Obviously in terms of, let's say, if you do video views or if you do tracking becomes of landing page views and all those things. Out of these 30 or 40, maybe in the end you probably have you filter down to maybe 10 to 12 or maybe 8.
Right.
And then you narrow, you group them together, and then you run another set of ads. Or either you group them together and you run a different ads. So it's like a funnel lah. You start wide. Then those who are not working, you turn them off. Those who are working, you then either group them together. You look at the characteristics and see, and then either you run them individually or you put them together, and then you increase your budget and you run again.
Right. Sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to. I'm not against the model, but it's just that when you're playing with this, then you got to be very careful about the overlapping, because we can't control the overlapping. Then in between interest, it could be overlapping. But
if I'm going to spend,
$5 a day,
spending $5 ringgit a day,
it's fine.
How much overlap can you have? So unless you do $100 a day, maybe.
And the other thing that we can try to control here is we do exclusion. I mean, exclusion is really one of the things that a lot of people don't do. Like, for example, when you have running this, you make sure that you exclude the end action, which is either watching video or visiting website. So with the exclusion in place, things should be quite good, I would say.
Yeah.
Cool. I like the idea. What about you, Manfred? What is your take? What is your method?
In Singapore, I think we have less than 5 million Facebook population. The last time I checked is 4.6 million. So
that's why it's so expensive.
It's actually quite small and quite heavily targeted. And I also agree with Andrew, the minimum audience size should be around 500,000 to 1 million for Singapore case. Okay, anything lower, 200, the results you do already, if it's successful, also difficult to scale also. You're going to have problems scaling also.
True.
But also, one of the most important thing is that Facebook constantly do optimization in the following campaigns like traffic, conversion, lead gens. These campaigns, you cannot reach all the audience. Say example, if you have 1 million audience and you use traffic or conversion or lead gen, some people really think that they can really meet that 1 million audience. So no, Facebook is not going to allow you to reach 1 million. They will somehow find that maybe 10%, say example, you want people to click to go to your website and read your blog. So the 1 million population or 1 million target audience, the maximum maybe they will give you is 100K, because these people has a history of clicking to website to read something. So they will target them. They'll be sort of in that queue. And the remaining 90% maybe do not have the history, so you're never able to touch them. That's how the Facebook optimization. And in a way, when I first start doing it, I find it very annoying because I really wanted everyone.
You want to reach everyone.
But come back to the same theory is when you're targeting everyone, you're targeting nobody. Okay, but so basically, when this is optimization, it's really for your own good. But if you really want to reach everyone, it's a rich campaign for you to reach everyone, where there's no optimization algorithm to restrict you. Yep. So come back to the audience size, 500 to 1 million is, I think, is fairly decent in Singapore case. Honestly, I haven't done Malaysia targeting besides social proofing, so I don't comment on Malaysia market.
Okay, I agree with the 500 to 1 million, but I also want to touch a little bit about what Manfred say about, you're not able to touch, let's say if you have 500,000 to 1 million, theoretically you can touch the audiences. You can actually touch the most of the audiences, but of course not 100%. It's quite difficult to touch 100% because of the optimization that you mentioned. Facebook will zoom in to the people who are likely to take the action, say traffic. So they will zoom in. However, when you are able to do the whole framework done right, like for example, the exclusion, when the exclusion is done right, and then when the campaign is being run for a longer term, you can. My record is one of my campaign was able to reach 80% of my total audience size. 80%. Okay, we were looking at about 400,000 people within the the area that we are targeting. We reached about 80% of these people over the span of I think it's about 6 months time. So we run a longer term campaign. We don't spend big, but the exclusion done damn good. Meaning that once you have done this, right, once you have taken this action, out. So slowly, of course, towards the end of it, right, you will see some fluctuation in terms of CPM. Okay, because then the CTR kind of drops a little bit, but as long as the overall cost per result stabilizes, we keep it going. So it happened to me. Another thing I wanted to talk about audience targeting size is, I always like to emphasize this: your audience size must be realistic to your budget. So let's say if you're only spending like what Andrew is doing, like probably per ad set, he's only spending about $5 to $10 a day. So let's take a look at the normal CPM that we have in Malaysia. It's about maybe like $10. So one day you spend $10, which means you will reach people about 1,000 times, theoretically, let's put it. So average frequency maybe at 1.5. If you 1,000 divided by 1.5, you probably will reach about 700 people at average, unique people average. So if one day you're reaching about 700 people, and then you're spending, like 700 people, and then you're trying to target 7 million, then to me, it's a long shot. This is an unrealistic audience size. So in a way, because I've got a client that spends 5,000 a day, 10,000 a day. So when you are spending 5,000, 10,000 a day, then I would just go really crazy wide. But of course, we can't go 26 million in the whole Malaysia. So with the moment you zoom in, right, then we need to take care of the other thing already. When the moment you have a bigger budget, you need to make sure that, basically another area that we need to look into is you need to churn your ads fast enough. You probably need to change your ads maybe every week or every 2 weeks. Currently, I'm monitoring a campaign that spends close to about 2,000, 3,000 a day, 3,000 a day. So that kind of campaign, and they're targeting about 500,000 people. Kesian, I tell you. I mean, it's really a disaster. They have to change ad probably every week. So the churning rate is really fast. So that's why the audience size, I mean, I would say, of course, we all of us agree that, 500,000 to 1 million is a decent size. However, I think it's really important for us to really look at our budget, then look at the CPM, then we calculate a realistic one. But I think it's a good run. I like this topic. So let's go to the next, because we are overrun a little bit. We have 2 more questions to cover. 37 minutes right now. Okay. If you have questions, guys, if you have questions, if you have questions, type it away, because we have 2 more questions to cover by the panel. Then we will try to go through some of the questions that you post, if you have any. Now, Manfred, your favorite cup. What about lookalike audiences? Yeah. What percentage do you use? First thing first. But help our audience understand lookalike.
For Singapore case, 1% definitely upfront. But you will notice that for 1% is actually 46,000. My rationale
let me fill in a bit. Sorry to interrupt, Manfred. Let me fill in a bit. So when you're creating lookalike audience, okay, you can choose the percentage. It's between 1% to 10%. So this is really reflecting based on the percentage based on the number of users you have in that country. So in Singapore, about 4.6 million, 1% will be 460,000. Hey, wait.
No,
is it 460? 46,000.
46,000 only, very small.
That's small, you crazy, yeah?
Yeah, whack first, see whether the whole thing can work, because these are the closest to your custom audience. So say example, I have audience list of 5,000. Okay, it should be very soon already. You throw it in, you do lookalike, do 1% first, try a bit. Although audience is very small, you can try that. I am still testing something. I noticed someone actually talk about this, where you do your audience for that's another topic. Okay, so 1%.
Don't get too technical.
1% actually you can test it out. Then if it works, of course you increase gradually to 2% and 3%. But last time I used to
increase after that, not at the beginning.
No, not at the beginning. When you prove it's working. Last time I like to do 10% straight, because I believe to the 500,000 audience size. So 460 to 500,000 should be close. But 10%, the results.
Oh yeah, it is very diluted already.
Yeah, very diluted, and it's not pure already. And you start to have questions, because my approach is a bit like programming. We try to test something. We only have one variable to test this thing whether it can work or not before I throw in more money.
Is a programmer, right?
My past life is a programmer. So all the habits come back. So I want to prove. That if 1% is working, then you expand it out. If you throw 10%, yes, it's satisfied the 500,000 audience, but then the data is sometimes got, sometimes don't have. I also don't know how to make out of it. Then you are kind of stuck. You don't know what to do after that. So start with 1%. Make sure it's really working. Then you expand from there.
Okay. So that's a good approach. But I mean, of course, we are having a different scenario here because you're in Singapore, we're in Malaysia. Because outside, right, 1% cantik. I mean, it's about 260,000. So if I do, I usually go by.
Very difficult.
Okay. No, I do. I mean, I have clients targeting Singapore. I have clients targeting Hong Kong. These two places I tell you, break everywhere. You cannot use the same method. But in Malaysia, I think that we are fortunate enough to have way too many Facebook users. So my approach is about 3%. 1 to 3% will be decent. But what about you, Andrew? But Andrew target even more countries, right?
I do, Normally I do about last campaign, I think we did about 16 countries.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. But I think guys, just a word of if you notice that the three of us, each one of us have different method. The real truth is this: there is no one size fit all, and none of this particular it's not carved in stone. So what you want is take each one of them, because you have to put it in context, because I have a different set of audience, I have a different set of products, it appeals to a different set of people. Manfred has a different set of countries he's targeting for, in Singapore. So take some of the key points, but the more important thing is you need to test, right? Start small,
definitely
test, use, So if somebody will tell you that this is one way that definitely works, I don't think so, because the country is different, the language is different, the products is different, The method of selling a car against method of selling a property is different again. Although you're doing it in Malaysia, even for that matter, it's different. So the key point, I think, should test.
I totally agree.
Take the ideas.
I totally agree.
Take our ideas.
Because correct. I mean, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people kind of find it stuck. Because to be frank, not everybody like us. We kind of like have the time, of course, and then we have the habit. And we like doing experiment. However, when we are trying to learn things from online, you see, a lot of people come and ask me, "Hey, Jason, I learned from this guru and so-called. It doesn't work on me." I say, totally, I agree with what Andrew said. This is based on the guru's experience. But when you learn this thing, I think it's very important for you to test. And we don't right away go and say that his method is wrong. It's just probably the product is different. The industry is different, and of course there are many variables that can go haywire. So I totally agree with you. So that's the reason why we do these three marketeers. We're not trying to teach you anything. It's just that we share our experience. Okay, so you have to pandai see what you want to take. Okay, so now that's really about the lookalike audience. So basically, you got to be very careful about lookalike audience. But one last word I have about lookalike audience is, first thing first, your seed audience must be powerful. So your seed audience, first, it has to be powerful. It has to be really solid seed audience. Second thing is your seed audience size must be at least 1,000. Meaning that, let's say even for example, if you have 3,000 phone numbers that you have collected, but the moment you upload it to Facebook, it only matches about 800, which is below 1,000. You can't use it to to create a very strong lookalike, because according to Facebook, to create a strong lookalike, you need at least 1,000, solid 1,000 in the base after matching. So you need to grow a little bit. That's why a lot of people straight away come in, lookalike, it's like a miracle thing. It's like a, magic pill. Let's take this. Come on. You don't have enough data how to create a magic pill for you. Agree or not?
Most important is rubbish in, rubbish out. If you throw in rubbish,
I like that.
Correct.
Yeah, you sure get rubbish.
Yes.
But I admit I'm one of what you mentioned. I really under very difficult situation. I have no choice. 100 also chiong. And the result not very good.
No.
But you
because
have
because
to
that's the
really do
bottom
it,
line that we were told lah.
Yeah.
But different scenario lah for your case. You need to run that. Okay, so that's look alike. I like that. So let's go to the final one. I remember any questions type away. Then we're gonna after this we're gonna wrap this already after the custom audiences, and we're gonna wrap this and then we're gonna just let everybody go back to sleep. Now, custom audiences, what is your take?
Wow. Custom audience actually very powerful. That's why I see the seed audience. So sometimes a lot of people don't have a lot of traffic from their website, but you really can't do much. But if you have a lot of traffic, well, you really can pick your audience. So, say example, you always focus on the people who visit most frequently and cut out all those accidental clicks or people who don't recognize your brand. So mainly there's two ways to do it. Maybe the time on site, you can put 25%. So you can choose top 5% or 10%. And the other way is set the website frequency visit maybe above 3. So people who visited your website more than 3 times in the past 180 days, it works wonders. And by doing that, you can isolating your ads spend on people who most likely to perform the action that I want, realizing that those who are less familiar with me are less likely to convert. So you must also recognize that through this website audience, sometimes people register via different devices, so you capture differently, or maybe they serve using incognito. And also this website custom audience also expire after 180 days. And if you do same thing about the lookalike, if you put 180 days, sometimes it's a bit overkill because the data may not be that accurate. So you narrow down to 7 days will be even better for this custom audience.
You mean okay?
Yeah, 7 days is more concentrated. I'll put it this way. And
recency.
Yeah, recency and frequency. Yeah. That's important.
Now to help our audiences, let me bring up this screen because to a lot of people they probably kind of like not sure, about the custom audiences. So basically, let me fill in a little bit. So when you are actually running a campaign, right, you're able to create your custom audiences over here. So let me switch it back to my account. I have too many accounts. Okay. So basically, custom audiences. To break it down, to help people understand about custom audiences, essentially custom audiences are the audiences that you own. People that have already taken certain action based on all these things. Like for example, right, first thing first, you have website. Customer list is really like what we did, you import the phone number and email in. If you have an app that you can base on activity, then video view, Instagram account and all this. So these are the custom audiences. So just in case you don't know, okay? So, to bring it in a little bit about what Manfred mentioned just now. So let's say if you have a website, like he was saying, if you have a very strong website, my website is kind of strong. Okay, daily we have about 300 to 400 people viewing at least. So then I'll be able to go in like what? I'll be able to go in people based on time span. Yeah, this is what you mean, right? I can zoom in by 5%. So this is totally super, but this could be me. I'd spend the most time on my own website, of course. So that's the kind of like the argument. Definitely, when I build website, I change my website every day. So it could be me.
You should exclude your IP. Yeah.
So that's the thing that So but I agree with you. So this could be the thing. So Manfred, please continue. I'm helping you to fill in the thing that to help our audience understand about custom audiences.
When you do custom audience, I think the other one is the customer list that you just mentioned. And a lot of times, sometimes people, I do that also when I register myself to certain forms. The email address is different from my Facebook email address.
Right.
I do it purposely, but this is my profession. So sometimes when you do matching up, when you list up the email address, you realize you only match up 50% and you lose a lot of people who are untargeted in customer list. So you see, if your audience, your website is weak, least traffic, your email list also weak, then how? So in order, and you want to hit 500K for every algorithm. So anything too small cannot get good results. So the best solution is to overlap. Remember just now I mentioned 1% is around 46K, right? So you can do multiple 1%.
Oh,
provided it's working first.
There you go.
Stack them together.
Okay.
Yeah. Then
Overlap.
you get as close as
everywhere.
So custom audience is a very important tool.
In my opinion, that is really the thing that makes Facebook advertising different from others.
Yep.
Jason,
the custom audiences. Yes.
Does Facebook still allow you to match mobile numbers though?
Yes,
It used
I
to
want. I
previously.
just
Then
wanted to.
they do, right?
Yep.
They do. I mean, now, okay, what Facebook stopped doing is that Facebook don't allow you to search by mobile phone number. Back
Okay.
then, when
But you
when
can
I
still
see a
do
stranger number, I go
customer.
Facebook search. Custom audience, you can.
Right.
So this is the thing that I
Right.
want to bring up. When you actually import lists like this, right? Usually, phone number has got a better matching rate compared to email. Because like what Manfred said, you probably don't use the same email for your Facebook account and all that.
Definitely.
However, phone number matching rate could go up to maybe 70%.
Yeah.
So this gives you an idea when you are going out running some activities
not
and all
bad.
that, right? What you want to collect, what you want to collect, what you want to collect is in fact, in my opinion, quite essential if you want to use it for Facebook advertising. Phone number, but mobile phone you don't give me landline, I cannot match anything.
But a
Right.
lot of girls
Mobile
will
numbers,
not
yeah.
want to give you the mobile number. Very sensitive.
Now, I mean, you put girls to get girls phone number lah. Come on, I mean, you put our face go out cannot. I mean,
No,
just saying.
especially when you do B2B ads, don't forget about uploading the email address, the company email address, because nobody uses their company email address to set up a Facebook account.
That's
unless
totally
it's for
true.
business.
Totally true. Correct.
So yeah, so forget about it. But you can try, or you can do the mobile numbers, because that one is very accurate, primarily because not many people carry like 3, 4, or 2 or 3 mobile phones. So normally that's
Especially
the
now.
primary phone. And guess what?
Yeah.
Your primary phone is the one that you use for your Facebook, for your Instagram, and everything. So that's the best bet for you to do for B2B. Forget about emails.
I agree.
Emails.
But emails
Ain't
is
gonna work.
emails. Okay, that's another world but we were doing custom audiences. I think phone number works better on this case. So I wanted
Customer
to go
list,
back and say that. Yeah. So these are the things that you can do Basically, it's really powerful. You know how to use them, right? And remember, when you're doing custom audiences, I always like to tell people there are 2 ways of using your custom audiences. You see, this is really like a lot of people only use custom audiences for retargeting because this is what they actually being trained. They say that, oh, when I do custom audiences, when I look at people who watch my video, then I do retargeting. But let me give you another important concept that a lot of people don't even think about it, which is you should use your custom audiences as exclusion. Really, this could be one of the important key takeaway for tonight, because let's say, for example, let me give you a very simple scenario now. When you're running an ad using a 1-minute video, for those people who have watched your video up to 50%, 50, which is about 30 seconds, other than putting them through and start showing you the next ad, you need to really stop showing the same ad to them again by setting up the exclusion. Because it's no brainer, because the moment you keep showing it to them, I've watched up to 30 seconds, it's very unlikely for me to rewatch this again, first thing. Okay, so you're wasting your money showing the same ad to me over and over again. The second thing is, when I actually have done that, you keep showing it to me, this will be actually, I will grow blind on you. So, and chances are I probably will start hating you because you keep coming back. If you don't know how to
the top right hand corner and click hide ad or report the ad,
then you're gone already. Then your ad rating will drop significantly because Facebook knows that people hate you. So okay, so this is really the thing that you really need to do, right? So that's about the custom audiences. So I think remember, it's about 2 things. You want to use it for targeting, for retargeting, which is to follow people. At the same time, you also want to use it as a qualifier to exclude people, to stop showing the ad to the same people. So that's really what we advocate inside our 2-step funnel framework, right? So yeah, I mean, I think that wraps. Let me see if there's any question. Nobody asked question, and a lot of people are watching.
Any questions? No questions?
We have 18 people watching. We have no questions. At the moment, we still have 18. I mean, to late night, we never do much announcement. Thank you so much for still staying with us. If you have no questions, then we're going to do our wrap already. 19. I don't know where these people come from.
Maybe we cover the meat glimpse.
Oh, yes, you have something. So share with us about meat glimpse, and let me bring this up.
So can see?
Can?
Okay, so this one is just the website recently I found out. So for those people who are doing drop shipping, you need to buy me coffee for this. Okay, I stumbled across this website. Personally, I find it very interesting. Is in this website actually collect data from all around the world. So these are some of the trending things that we see the spike I'm looking at under COVID-19. Say again?
No, upper back pain,
Upper
lower
back
back
pain.
pain.
Yeah.
That's me
So
Sit too long.
personally, I like food lah. So you see,
What the hell?
chicken soup, oat milk.
It's
There's
tea.
even
Right,
a
right.
wider spike. You see, ultra high temperature milk is milk that is processed under high heat in order to kill bacteria. So
Why?
there's yeah. They
oatmeal?
didn't state UHT milk. Maybe there's a huge percentage of people searching. So this is something like Google Trend, but it's very interesting. I'm not sure where's the source of their traffic. I'm still looking at this thing. So they give me ideas. You see, bread maker, search on
How do we use this? How do we use this?
drop shipping.
I mean, to find product. Oh,
Yeah,
drop shipping.
so
Oh, that's
if I'm
interesting.
doing,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
if I'm doing food industry,
Air fryer.
fresh fruit, and cucumber seed banana extract is actually in demand now, as in people English muffin. So they will give you some information. So hope you all like this. So I say again, the website is meatglips.com.
Okay. Let me copy that thing in.
Yeah,
Okay,
pass it
let
to
me
you.
share with them. Yeah. So this is quite interesting. Oh, I just
Yeah.
bought air fryer.
So our audience, anybody who like this, got any comments, just share with us. Then we will find more interesting websites also to share with you.
Yeah. I think that's one of the very good thing. I think we can
Yeah.
add this to our weekly session. Every week we share one interesting website.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
I think
good idea.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Give you a
So
reason
please
to
share
stay.
with
Make
us.
sure you stay throughout, so you don't go in forward.
So we usually do this. We do this at the last.
Last one.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
Okay.
I think it's a good run. Wow,
Yeah.
we are already 56 minutes now. It's supposed to be 30 minutes, 1 hour already. And
Yeah. This is
Okay.
This is our third show.
Third.
So we are evolving, and then do ask us, tell us what you want to hear for the subsequent shows. What are we doing next week?
Next week we're doing objectives. So everybody will have different take. How do you use objective? Which objective to choose? What are the differences between objectives? When do we use specific objectives?
Wow.
So that's gonna be our next topic.
Okay.
So this is gonna be quite interesting. Yep. So okay.
Yep.
I think anything else to add on before I wrap this? Guys, all good, huh? Thank you so much, Manfred, Andrew,
So
for
we're
staying with us. And
for this one.
sorry, huh? Come again? I lost you.
We're coming on Thursday for
Thursday, right?
we
Are we
coming
changing,
on
Manfred?
Thursday for this
We
one.
stick to Thursday first.
Right. Okay. We stick with Thursday. Okay, bear with us. We might change because sometimes last time we do Friday, then Friday, 10 o'clock, then we change it to Thursday. Then if there is any changes, we'll update you guys again. Now, thank you so much for staying with us up to now. And basically, this is what we do on a weekly basis. If you're interested, please, set your reminder, click subscribe or follow and everywhere you are so that you'll be notified. Usually it's every Thursday, 10 p.m. If you have any questions specifically about Facebook advertising and digital marketing, shoot your questions away to my inbox or even to comment. Because if you're watching the replay right now, you can still, comment, and all of us will still come in and look at it whenever we can. And so this is the Three Marketeers show. Basically, this is our third episode, and it's good. It's fun to be able to do this. And we have this from Joma. Joma has been staying with us for a while. Joma said thanks. Joma from Philippines, right, Joma? I think Joma is from Philippines. And then we have Alan. Alan was actually responding to some of our talking about how do we actually bring in these people. And then we have Annie. Annie has been sharing our show, but Annie has been quietly watching. Thank you so much for watching, Annie. Thank you so much for staying with us. So these are friends, and really, if you have any questions, if we can answer, shoot them away. We will definitely see how we can actually fit it in between the episodes. And we intend to do this for long term. Andrew was saying he wants to do 100 episodes. Okay, let's do this.
100 episodes.
I think it should be fun.
Thanks, Nana. Also, thanks, Nana.
Yeah. Where's Nana? Let me bring
Nana
it in.
Yeah,
there you go, Nana. Nana is a good friend. So basically, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for staying with us, and we look forward to see you next week. If you find this useful, please share this with your friends, because if your friend don't mind listening to two guys yam away on a Thursday night, please bring them in. So next week we talk about objectives.
Nothing to
next
sell.
Week we talk about objectives.
Yes.
Nothing. We don't sell anything.
That'll be cool.
We don't sell anything. Yeah.
Nothing
So
to
next
sell
thing we
here.
talk about
Yes.
object. Yeah. Next thing we talk about objective. Okay. Objective is where a lot of people start, a lot of people get confused about also. So let's fill in about things that we can talk about next week. Okay. Next week, same
Okay.
time,
All
10
right.
o'clock.
Cool.
See you
I'll see you.
Yes.
Okay.
10
Thank you so
o'clock.
much, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching
Good
up
night.
to now. I'll see you next week. Okay. Guys, bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.